Yes. And I will hide self-view or make others bigger. Good, that works. So, hello, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
We are reading today from Bhagavad Gita, 18th chapter, text 65. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 65, you said?
Yes. So Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18, text 65. Also have to find it. Oh, this is good.
You want to follow with me?
So when I was choosing verses for this class, I wanted to choose my favorite one, but Lakshmi Priya Devidasi already chose my favorite verse for this Bhagavad Gita evening. So I was thinking, well, I could do it twice, but I decided to choose my second favorite verse. But the best verse in Bhagavad Gita ever, Vidya Vinaya Sampane Brahmane Gavihastini
Suni Chaibasa Pakita Pandiga Savadarshina. I just want to say that I did give you credit that night. I didn't see you on the screen, but I did credit you for it being your favorite verse. Didn't mean to steal it.
Hare Krishna. So that verse says, Hare Krishna Anasuya and guest, we have a guest. So yes, that verse says that the humble sage sees with equal vision elephant, dogs, brahmanas, dog eaters. So that verse basically says that I must be a humble sage or something.
Oh, God.
Okay, so but I'm not going to speak on this verse today, unfortunately. But it's going to be 1865. Manmana,
Madmana,
Bhava,
Bhava,
Madbhakta,
Madbhakta,
Madhyaji,
Madhyaji,
Mam,
Mam,
Namaskuru,
Namaskuru,
Mam,
Mam,
Eva,
Eva,
Eshyasi,
Shasi,
Satyam,
Satyam,
Te,
Te,
Pratijane,
Atijane,
Prijah,
Priya,
Asi,
Asi,
Me.
Me.
All right. Manmana Bhava Madbhakto,
Manava Madbhakto,
Madhyadi Mam Namaskuru,
Madhyaji Mam Namaskuru,
Mam Evaishyasi Satyam Te,
Mameshvasyasi Satyam Te,
Pratijane Priyosime,
Vatijane Priyosime,
Manmana Bhava Madbhakto,
Manmanabhava Madbhakto,
Madhyadi Mam Namaskuru,
Mamyaji Mam Namaskuru,
Mam Evaishyasi Satyam Te,
Mameshvasyasi Satyam Te,
Pratijane Priyosime,
Vatijane Priyosime,
Manmana Bhava Madbhakto,
Manmanabhava Madbhakto,
Madhyaji Mam Namaskuru,
Madhyaji Mam Namaskuru,
Mam Evaishyasi Satyam Te,
Mameshvasyasi Satyam Te,
Pratijane Priyosime,
Vatijane Priyosime,
Manmana Bhava Madbhakto,
Manmanabhava Madbhakto,
Madhyaji Nam namaskuru.
Madhyaji mam namaskuru.
Mam evaishyasi satyam te.
Mamevashyasi satyam te.
Pratijane priyosi me.
Pratijane priyosime.
Madmanamava madbhakto.
Madhava madbhakto.
Madhyaji mam namaskuru.
Mamyaji mam namaskuru.
Mam evaishyasi satyam te.
Mamevashyasi satyam te.
Pratijane priyosi me.
Pratijane priyosime. Manmana bhava madbhakto.
Manmana bhava madbhakto.
Madhyaji mam namaskuru.
Madhyaji mam namaskuru.
Mamevasyasi satyante.
Mame vaishyasi satyam te.
Pratijane priyosime shive.
Pratijane priyosi me.
Mamana bhava madbhakto.
Manmana bhava madbhakto.
Mamyaji mam namaskuru.
Mamyaji mam namaskuru.
Mame vashyasi satyam te.
Mame vaishyasi satyam te.
Patijane priyosime.
Pratijane priyosi me. Anyone online would like to chant?
Okay, we're here. Manmana bhava madbhakto.
Manmana bhava madbhakto.
Madhyaji mam namaskuru.
Madhyaji mam namaskuru.
Mame vaishyasi satyam te.
Mam evaishyasi satyam te.
Pratijane priyoshime.
Pratijane priyosi me.
Manmana bhava madbhakto.
Manmana bhava madbhakto.
Madhyaji mam namaskaru.
Madhyaji mam
Mam
namaskuru.
namaskuru.
Mamevasya satam te.
Mam evaishyasi satyam te.
Pratijane priyosime.
Pratijane priyosi me. Okay, so we are going to go to the word. Manmana,
Manmana.
thinking of me.
Thinking of me.
Bhava,
Bhava.
just become.
Just become.
Madbhakta,
Madbhakta.
my devotee.
My devotee.
Madhyaji,
Madhyaji.
my worshipper.
My worshipper.
Mam,
Mam.
unto me.
Unto me.
Namaskuru,
Namaskuru.
offer your obeisances.
Offer your obeisances.
Mam, unto me.
Unto me.
Eva,
Eva.
certainly.
Certainly.
Eshyasi,
Eshyasi.
come.
Come.
Satyam,
Satyam.
truly.
Truly.
Te,
Te.
to you.
To you.
Pratijane,
Patijane.
I promise.
I promise.
Prijah,
Vijah.
dear,
Dear.
Asi,
Asi.
you are.
You are.
Me,
Me.
my.
My.
Translation. Always think of me and become my devotee. Worship me and offer your homage unto me. Thus you will come to me without fail. I promise you this because you are my very dear friend. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. The most confidential part of knowledge is that one should become a pure devotee of Krishna and always think of him and act for him. One should not become an official meditator. Life should be so molded that one will always have the chance to think of Krishna. One should always act in such a way that all his daily activities are in connection with Krishna. He should arrange his life in such a way that throughout the 24 hours he cannot but think of Krishna. And the Lord's promise is that anyone who is in such pure Krishna consciousness will certainly return to the abode of Krishna, where he will be engaged in the association of Krishna face to face. This most confidential part of knowledge is spoken to Arjuna because he is the dear friend of Krishna. Everyone who follows the path of Arjuna can become a dear friend to Krishna and obtain the same perfection as Arjuna. These words stress that one should concentrate his mind upon Krishna, the very form with two hands carrying a flute, the bluish boy with a beautiful face and peacock feather in his hair. There are descriptions of Krishna found in Brahma Samhita and other literatures. One should fix his mind on his original form of Godhead Krishna. He should not even divert his attention to other forms of the Lord. The Lord has multi-forms as Vishnu, Narayan, Rama, Varaha, and so on. But the devotee should concentrate his mind on the form that was present before Arjuna. Concentration of the mind on the form of Krishna constitutes the most confidential part of knowledge. And this is disclosed to Arjuna because Arjuna is the most dear friend of Krishna's. Om Jnanatirmirandhasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chaksurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Karamahayam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapada Kamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Ragunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parichana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakham Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatkate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radhakanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gorange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakau Patarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Goravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavari Paschataresha Tarine. Okay. Yes, so Krishna is speaking to Arjuna and we are like at the end conclusion of Bhagavad Gita towards the end of chapter. I think the last chapter has 78 verses and we are on verse 65. So it's really like one of the final verses of Bhagavad Gita. So Bhagavad Gita includes a lot of knowledge about who we are and who we are not, and how the material nature works, and how the modes of material nature work, and how they affect us, and how and why we identify with them. So there is a lot, and Bhagavad Gita culminates in this: always think of me and become my devotee. Always think of me. In the word-to-word translation, Srila Prabhupada translates, just become, Bhava, just become. Easy enough. Just do it. just do it. So Krishna says, like, it's a culmination of Bhagavad Gita, but also Krishna stresses this point of always think of me few more times in Bhagavad Gita, like the conclusion of chapter 9 is the same verse, Manmana Bhava Madbhakto Mam Yadi Mam Namaskuru. Mam Evai starts, is the same start, and then I don't have it memorized. Mam Evai Syasi, and now different Yuktaivam Atmana Mat Parayana. So 2.5 verse that Shri Krishna already spoke, speaking again. So it seems it will be important when Krishna says it twice in Bhagavad Gita. Engage your mind always in thinking of me, offer obeisances and worship me, become completely absorbed in me, and surely you will come to me. So Krishna says also in chapter 8, verse 7, Shri Krishna says, therefore, Arjuna, you should always think of me in the form of Krishna, and at the same time carry out your prescribed duty of fighting. With your activities dedicated to me and your mind and intelligence fixed on me, you will attain me without a doubt. So it's like a repeating theme. Always think of me. Always think of me. So I was like looking for Srila Prabhupada's quotes about always remember Krishna, and I found like thousands of them. So I wasn't capable to choose, so I didn't choose any. I just want you to know that like always remember Krishna is a repetitive theme. So chant minimum of 16 rounds of japa. That's there, minimum. But really, ideally, the goal is to always think of Krishna, to always chant. Krishna also says in Bhagavad Gita, "Oh, son of Kunti, all that you do, all that you eat, all that you offer and give away, as well as all austerities and you may perform, should be done as an offering unto me." So always think of Krishna, and all you do, all you eat, just give it to him, just all. Krishna doesn't want much from you. It can be simplified by all. give him all your heart. In the Bible it says, love the Lord with all your mind, with all your heart. I'm not sure if I quote it right. And don't depend on your own understanding. So it's all like give the Lord everything, all your thoughts. Today I made a little research before this class. So ordinary human being has 12,000 to 60,000 thoughts a day. Ordinary human, 12,000 to 60,000 thoughts a day. So what does it mean? I am not ordinary human because I think I have like 120,000 thoughts a day, not only 60,000. And then Krishna says, just like give the thoughts all to me. All 60,000 thoughts.
Stop thinking at least.
That's good.
True.
He doesn't say stop thinking. He says,
Stop acting.
he says give all these 60,000. So if you can like give 60,000 of thoughts to Krishna every day, then you are probably doing well. So see, it's not all, it's just all. So we can practice. We can practice out of this 60,000 thoughts a day. Oh my God, that sounds really terrible. But I think average person, well, average woman speaks like 30,000 words a day. and then average man speaks a little less, like 15,000 a day or something.
Who's that?
Men, women 30,000 and men 15,000. So like out of the 60,000, the woman will say half of them out loud. So that's 30,000 words for Krishna. So when we chant japa, 16 rounds, that's 27,648 names. So that's pretty good, 27,000. That like should take care for the urge to speak. Because if the ordinary woman says 30,000 words a day, then chanting 16 rounds out loud should take care for the urge to speak.
Oh, great.
Actually, at the beginning, when I started to chant, I was experiencing that. Like I was like, my muscles were so tired from speaking that I wasn't speaking much other than chanting. But then my muscles got used to 16 extra rounds. So now I get to speak 60,000 words a day, 30,000 names, and then probably 30,000 of complete nonsense. So now I'm a little losing track of what I wanted to speak about. But yes, so always think. So I like what I want for this class to like really be more like a discussion. Like, what do you do to fulfill this commandment of like always think of me? Because it's something that I have been meditating on a lot, and I am definitely not following that order of Srila Prabhupada to always remember Krishna and never forget him. And then so it's so important that Krishna says it twice in Bhagavad Gita. And so like I'm like, once I am done, I really would like to hear from others, like what are your tips to always think of Krishna, and I will share my tips or tips that I found. So it's not easy as said, it's possible. So Srila Prabhupada says, just like when the woman is in love with a man, naturally she will think of him. So it's possible. From there we can say it's possible. Is it easy to direct that propensity towards Krishna? I'm not saying that. In my experience, it's much easier to think of other, like horses. I was so obsessed with my horse when I was like teen. I was like constantly thinking of my horse. I was at school sitting and I don't know, doing Czech language, and I was constantly thinking of my horse, and I would make pictures of him and write his name everywhere. By the name, his name is Ramik. So I think it's little trick
Right.
a little trick of Krishna there for sure. I was so absorbed like in his name and like seeing him in my mind's eyes and like looking out for the window. I cannot wait that I can like go there. And if I would not go there one day, that would be like the longest day in my life. So it's possible. It's, I know by experience that my mind can be so fully absorbed. And so this like it's possible doesn't really tell me how to do it. So one thing how to do it, Lord Chaitanya himself knew we are going to have this problem with like how to do it, how to chant constantly, how to be like Lord Chaitanya says, I am so unfortunate, I have no attraction for these names. You make this process of Krishna consciousness so easy to get the fruit of love of God. It's like so easily accessible, but I am such a fallen rascal that I'm just not attracted. And so I don't remember. I start to chant and remember to focus for like one mantra or two, and then my mind is somewhere completely else. And then I finish my japa and I think, okay, and I will continue like in my mind to chant or to remember Krishna. And the next moment is just gone. And then a few hours later, maybe I remember again. So it's just like the process is so easy. And then because I'm so unfortunate, Lord Chaitanya says I'm so unfortunate that I have no attraction for these names. Then for me it's like really, really hard. So Lord Chaitanya says, Trinat apisa nichena, taror apisa hishnuna, amanina manadena, kirtanya sadahare. One should chant the holy name in humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than a straw in the sea, being more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. So he says it, how to do that. He says it, how to do that. Did you see that's another just? So yeah, so okay, just think of me always. Now Krishna, I cannot do that. Okay, just be humble and tolerant. And then you can do that. Well, I cannot do that either. So, oh, Krishna. So, which verse today morning, Malini had a wonderful class. I will reflect on it a little bit because it relates with this tolerance and humility. Touched on it a lot. Humility is knowledge. No, humility is knowledge, and then tolerance, like that we need to tolerate not only the insults from others, right? Like if someone like says something that I don't like, or tells me that I did something wrong, or I said something wrong, and then I meditate on it for the next few months. So I need to just tolerate that and be like, okay, I'm a rascal and fool, I said something wrong, it's fine. So I don't do that, it's hard. And then we can tolerate like the inner response to all the external disturbances, but also the internal disturbances. So Mother Malini was reading from Nectar of Instruction, that it says that like the first step for us to like move on the path of Krishna consciousness is to control the urges, to like be tolerant of the urges of the body, of the urge to speak, of the urge to anger, of the urge of the genitals, of the urge to eat. So tolerance, that I can Like I can like really be with these disturbances and not get disturbed, because that's like what takes my attention away from Krishna, is my little self-absorbed drama. Because okay, I want to think of Krishna, but then I think of that thing that I said wrong 2 months ago. And then people got insulted and were angry with me. So there is not much space to think of Krishna in all of that. So it's about like, okay, experiencing the experience, and then not like allow myself to be like completely absorbed in it. And then I really appreciate the one point that you made today morning about the guilt. Like if I feel angry, or I feel disturbed, or I feel like complete opposite of tolerant, or I feel complete opposite of like peaceful. I'm just like angry, envious, disturbed, hurt, all these things. And then I think I shouldn't feel like this, because I'm a devotee. I chant Hare Krishna.
You're a special one too.
Special devotee. Definitely, I'm a special devotee. I chant Hare Krishna. I made so much progress on this path of devotional service already. Everyone needs to see that. So then if I have these like things that don't fit to the picture too well, then I feel guilty. Because if the good person does something that's not good, at least they feel guilty. So that proves me also right.
That's really good.
That shows that.
If you feel guilty, you're really good.
Yeah, exactly. If you feel guilty, you are really good. Because the bad people do the bad things and they don't even feel guilty for them. Can you imagine such terrible people in this world? They do bad things and don't feel guilty. Oh my God. In what society? So if you feel guilty, that shows. So the point that Mother Malini made, and then I really appreciate it, that this guilt actually is like the be do have. Well, that's what I took. It's the be do have principle. So I feel guilty, I'm a bad person. So then I do what the bad people do. And whatever, this is like a duality. So whatever in my mind is like processing as bad or good, which doesn't necessarily mean that from the absolute platform it's like the same discrimination. But let's say I think feeling angry is bad. So I feel angry, I'm a bad person. So I do what bad people do. And that means I explode in anger. Because that's the be to have principle. And so mine is said. And then if I'm just really understanding, no, it's just like this machine is working, and this machine is going to be disturbed by the disturbances because it's part of the material nature and it acts under the modes of material nature. So, and I am the observer of it, and the spirit soul is always good. So the good, be good, do what good spirit souls do, which means just experiencing my experience, and it's gone. So I was thinking about it a little bit, and it's like this urges. I think I have like a certain level of, let's say, ability to experience my experience and let go. And then each of these urges can come to intolerable platform. And then in the Christian prayer, there is like, lead us not into temptation. Lead us not into temptation.
Yes.
And it's so important to understand that this sense control, of course, Krishna reciprocated with our desires, but we really don't have that much control as we would like to have. So Krishna is Hrishikesha. It means master of the senses. It means master of the senses. And sometimes I had a lot of anger problem with my husband. I have had. It got better. Last time that I exploded at him in rage and I broke the doors of his office, is now a year ago. So I feel pretty good about myself and my anger control. But I don't know why they are laughing here. So, I mean, he really deserved it that day. No, there was a mouse in the house, and I tell him, like, you know, we should do something about the mouse in the house. And it's like, it's not my priority. So I broke the doors of his office, and then he got different priorities, like, I don't know, fixing the doors or sweeping the floor. Anyway, so where I am going, right? And yes, Krishna is Rishikesha. Krishna. So there, Krishna obviously didn't control my senses.
He did lead you into temptation.
Yeah, he led me into temptation. And so, yeah, so yes, I know where I was going with it. So I used to have a lot of anger problems with my husband, but since this event a year ago, it kind of was much more peaceful and relaxed here. Maybe I just needed to break those doors. And but then like 6 years of experience, like really getting intense rage with him. And then like at the beginning of our marriage, like 2 or 3 times every day, and then maybe like 3 times each week, and then maybe 3 times in each month. And then there was quite a break of the doors. But why I say it is that I really observed, and it was interesting, that like when it started to like become like the longer chunks in between. So what would happen would be I would start to feel really, really good about myself, because now I can control my anger. So that means I'm a really good person. And then my false ego would go like somewhere like astral. and then the next day, or probably the very same day, the temptation would come and would be so big that there was like nothing that was within my power, or at least that was my experience, like nothing that was within my power to control that rage that came. And then I would go, okay, Krishna, I get it. I'm not that great as I thought. And then I would be free. And so from that experience, I also learned, or in process of learning, that it is Krishna's mercy if we can like have the tolerance, if we can have the tolerance to tolerate all these urges and disturbances in the body. Because without Krishna's mercy, we cannot really do anything. Like the blade of grass is not moving without his will. And like me, like controlling my anger, I mean, from the personal growth perspective, should be like possible thing. I never get that realization. Because it's like I am weak in like facing my urges. I'm weak in facing my urges. And then I really appreciate this Christian prayer. Lead us not into temptation, because there is so much depth of understanding of like, yes, I'm weak, and if the temptation come, I might not be able to resist. And of course, we don't want to come to like some like weak victim place of like, well, there was a temptation, so I couldn't resist, you know.
It's Krishna's fault.
Krishna's fault anyway. He just like put this glass of wine in front of me. So what could I do then to drink it? And then he put this beautiful woman in front of me. So nothing so we have like choices. We have choices. Like Vira Govinda Prabhu David, he's like in the middle of 2 foundational seminars, and that is the story that he shares about the convict who would molest a girl, and then he's in a prison and he's talking to a psychologist. And then Dr. Michael T. and then he said, Think. Oh, I never know. Teague. I always thought that he was like named like a tea. like a cup of tea. Anyway, so I'm learning something new here. So he would, like, the convict would say, like, there was nothing I could do. Like, the temptation was so big, I couldn't help myself. I couldn't help myself that to ask the girl, because just like the urge of the body, I couldn't tolerate it. It's just so big.
Krishna put temptation.
Krishna put him in the temptation. He's so weak, what could he do? And then the technique that Michael Teak would use was, he would ask, okay, imagine there is the same scenario, there is the girl with the short skirt, and then the same room with you, but this time there is a policeman with a gun. Would you touch the girl? Oh, of course not. Of course not. So Dr. Michael Teague would say, this is very confusing to me, because you said you couldn't help yourself. So that's the thing. Like, if it was a stallion like a horse, male stallion, and there is a beautiful horse, you know, lady, Mary. So mare. So the stallion cannot help himself.
Even if he was a policeman.
Even if there was a policeman with the gun, the stallion cannot help himself. For him, it changes nothing. So that's the difference. In the human body, we have choices. We have choices. And then, okay, like, there is temptation, and it's probably true for most of us, or if not all of us, like a level of temptation that we really have very little power to, like, make the step back, like a break point. Like, till here, I could make choices that wouldn't lead me here, where I have no more control whatsoever. So the convict, you know, he didn't have to ask the girl to go with him to that empty room. You know, he, like, didn't have to, like, ask her to get naked. You know, there is, like, so many, like, steps that it's possible to say no to the temptation, to the steps that, like, increase the temptation. And then there is, like, a break, I think. That's my theory. There is, like, a break point where it's just like, it's too late. The senses are just acting so fiercely that the machine just doing its thing. So that's to the tolerance. So back to always think to Krishna. So we were speaking, okay, if one is humble and tolerant and offer respects to others, then we can chant the holy names of the Lord constantly. So that, like, we need to use our intelligence to, like, not to get to the threshold when we are so, like, triggered and agitated that there is no step back. And so it still, to me, doesn't really respond to the question, how can I always chant constantly? And mean, like, on practical level. Like, okay, always remember me if I love Krishna as much as I loved my horse when I was 16. Okay, I get it, the capacity is there somewhere. It's not very practical for me. Okay, just be humble and tolerant. Okay, I guess that's not very practical for me either, even though it's amazing thing. It's amazing thing to think about it. Like, yeah, I could just, like, you know, like, I broke my husband's doors in the office because I was angry with him. That could lead one to humility, but somehow that's not working for me so well either. So how to remember the Lord constantly? So Srila Prabhupada gave us a sandwich program. Sandwich program means that what we did today. It's a morning program, starting at 4 a.m. or 4:30 a.m. or at some places 5 a.m. and then full morning program with all the songs and kirtan and dancing and chanting 16 rounds and philosophy. And then we do our life, if possible, molded in such a way that we can also remember and serve Krishna. And then there is evening program we are doing now. So it's a sandwich. Program, doing your life, and the next program. So this sandwich program is here to help us to always remember Krishna, or at least every morning and every evening. So that's really nice. That's really nice. Yasya prashad bhagavat prashado, yasya prashadam nagati kutopi, dayam stuvam tasya yasasti sastri shantyam, vande guru shri charana ravindam trishantyam. At least 3 times a day. At least 3 times a day I should offer obeisances unto my spiritual master. So that's 3 times already. 3 times remembrance. And then every time we eat, we offer Krishna Bhoga, we offer what we cook, so we have prashadam. So I eat quite often, at least 3 times a day. So that's 6 times remembering Krishna. Okay, so we need to get to 60,000 times. But we are getting there. We are getting there. So that's a Srila Prabhupada, like very practical, very practical sandwich program to help us remember Krishna at least few times a day. And then so we can build from that. We can build from there. And then if the sandwich in the middle includes devotional service, or like
going on Harinam Sankirtan,
like going on Harinam Sankirtan in Atlanta,
downtown
Atlanta, then we will have more opportunity to remember Krishna. So it's like remembering Krishna more, like maybe with our action, like the doing. Like there is like remembering Krishna with the doing, and remembering Krishna with our mind, and remembering Krishna with our heart. I have no realization of that one. And so today we went on Harinam Sankirtan in downtown Atlanta. It was memorable. Srila Prabhupada was asked, like, do you believe in hell? Srila Prabhupada responded, London is hell. So I thought about it today in Atlanta. Oh yeah, Atlanta is hell. It's like the people were so miserable. I only experienced it once in Serbia, but other than in Serbia, I didn't experience that level of like so many people being so miserable, like so many homeless people, so many drunk people, so many drug addict people, and everything is just like so dark, gray, smelly.
Oh, smelly.
And there's so much pain. Like I was looking at people's eyes, and they had so much pain in their eyes, and it wasn't like, it was like hellish pain. It was like a really like hellish kind of suffering that was like mirroring in their heart, in their eyes. And I felt like, I think it was like first time that I felt like so deeply like the pain of the people that we were seeing in the city. And then when we were leaving, I felt the pain. I felt like, why am I doing anything else with my life? Why, like I felt like this like pain. Why am I doing anything else with my life than helping these people? Because it's just like the suffering so I completely unconceivable. And then we moved like 15 minutes drive away. And we are on this like heavenly, beautiful land with houses that look like from fairy tale, and like beautiful gardens, and everything is like peaceful and quiet, and birds are singing and taking their little bath, and then like the thing, bird bath, and it's like, yeah, like this is great illusion. This is great illusion to like, oh, things are pretty good here. And I already feel it like, things are pretty good here. It's so nice neighborhood, nice nature. Yeah, it's pretty like good world here. The urgency that I felt in the middle of that place is gone. It is
no more smell.
No more smell. It disappeared from my consciousness. But it's like this like service. And service can look in different ways. There are nine processes of devotional service, like hearing and chanting that we are doing now. And remembering, third one is remembering. See, hear about Krishna, and then chant, and then remember. Never mind. And praying, offering prayers, and worshipping the deities. So Malini is making an outfit for deities. So she's constantly thinking how to make the t-shirt so it fits well, and how to make the sleeves, and maybe she doesn't want to make the sleeves because it's too complicated. So that's a nice way how to mold our life in such a way that we can remember Krishna, that it becomes easy, because it, if we don't do it, then there are things that will support us in devotional service and things that will not support us. And Rupa Goswami is listing them in his Nectar of Instructions, like the 6 things that will help us and the 6 things that will not help us. One of them is association. So if I associate with people who are not interested in Krishna whatsoever, and I speak, like when I go to visit my parents or my parents-in-law, and then there is constantly going on TV with different TV shows and TV news and then things like this. It's just sooner or later, the TV is so attractive, it's fascinating, it's colorful, and then there is this advertises, and I can see how all my, I wish I had it for Krishna, but for the TV somehow. So but I feel really sick, after 5 minutes or so, I feel really sick. And I already trained my parents that when I'm there, they turn the TV off.
She trained Hotzi, she trained dogs.
I trained parents, all children train their parents, if you didn't know it yet. So someone trains successfully the parents and some don't. It took me 35 years to train my parents well, but now they are fairly well trained. I can say that. So they turn off the TV, they chant Hare Krishna with me, we read Bhagavad Gita. So yeah, getting there. They need some more training, but it's getting better. So yeah, so the TV, yeah, the association. So association makes a big difference. So if we associate with people who constantly think of Krishna and constantly speak about Krishna, then it will be easier for us to always remember Krishna. So all we need to do is find someone who constantly speaks about Krishna and then be like a tick. So that's what I am doing now.
You missed out there.
So that's one easy thing to do. Just find someone who constantly speaks about Krishna and become a tick. And then to always remember will naturally follow. Okay, so another well, I wanted to say another of the 6 processes, but now they all fade away, but it's okay. So
another of the 6 processes.
Another of the 6 things that help us to in the process of bhakti, and another 6 that don't help us. They are all gone now. So it might be found sooner or later. So I wrote down some quote from, I cannot read it, Brother Lawrence. He's a Carmelite, and he wrote a book, Practice the Presence of God. So he says, we should establish ourselves in a sense of God's presence by
drinking wine,
by continually conversing with him. We should not drinking wine. If you see some background noise by drinking wine, no, not by drinking wine, but by continually conversing with him. So that's practical idea, God is a Paramatma in everyone's heart. So we are all having Krishna is our very dear friend constantly with us in our heart, and maybe we are not experiencing it, but we can practice. We can practice the knowing. Yes, my very best friend, my father, and my well-wisher, and my master is always with me. And so I can talk to him. Like if I have my best friend with me, I constantly talk with the best friend. So I can remember. Yeah, that's the point. Remember. So I can remember, and when I remember, I can like direct my inner conversation to Krishna and share with him. And I'm in Srimad Bhagavatam after Maharaj Parikshit was saved in the womb of his mother. And so what happens there is Arjuna is praying to Krishna, and the weapon, like it's like atomic weapon that's released by Ashwatthama, and there is scorching heat and light everywhere that Arjuna cannot see. It's like the light is so bright that he cannot see anything, and he only feels like scorching heat. And he starts to pray to Krishna, and he doesn't go to like, Krishna, please save me. When he goes to pray to Krishna, first thing that he does is he glorifies Krishna. He brings up so many like beautiful glorifying prayers to Krishna. And Srila Prabhupada says in the purport that like if we want to like approach the Lord with anything, first we need to glorify him. First we need to offer prayers. And I found that very beautiful. And in the case of Arjuna, he's not secure of his life at that very moment. So who would think to like waste time by offering prayers? Like, Krishna, sorry, I have no time to offer prayers. Now you save me, and maybe after I will pray. It's mostly how I have been praying. When I was a child, I was praying for like a good degrees from math. It was like a math exam, and I was afraid that I will fail, so I was praying. I was atheist, but I was praying. And I was praying that I will pray every day. No, I will pray every day, but I need to pass the test first. And then I would pass the test, and then I didn't need the Lord anymore. So Arjuna is praying beforehand. How beautiful is that? Like he's just like having moments from death, that he doesn't want to like come to Krishna and just like do this. He's offering prayers. So imagine like to remember, oh, I have this beautiful friend Krishna with me always constantly, and I want to talk to him. And let's say I have like some problems that I want to share with him. Okay, but like to glorify him first. Like Krishna, I don't know. I know that we are constantly with everyone in their hearts, yeah, and also in my heart. And then you are like so giving and so loving to every living entities. And then everything that like happens each moment is so beautifully arranged by you. And I'm really bothered by how is it arranged now. But it's like gives like such a different in the conversation and experience. But again, like to remember, that's the thing. And all the remembrance also comes Krishna. From Krishna comes remembrance and forgetfulness also. So we can also pray to remember. This prayer in Bible, Lord, help me to pray at all times. Help me to pray. That's a prayer given in Bible to like really like remember that I will not remember without Krishna's mercy. And then when I do remember to like really be grateful for it. Like, wow, I remember. Thank you, Krishna. Oh, I'm so good. I remember. So yes. And so it says in Bible, continue steadfastly in prayer, being watchful in it with thanksgiving. So continue steadfastly in prayer. My understanding is pray constantly. It's a similar thing. Constantly is the theme. And being watchful in it with thanksgiving. So it's a principle like gratitude. Like pray constantly and be grateful, no matter what comes or don't come. So rejoice in hope, be patient in tribulation, be constant in prayer. See, same principle. Mm-hmm. Today we met a Christian and he said like, you are not following Jesus Christ. This is something completely else. You are demonic. And it says the same thing. It says rejoice in hope and be patient in tribulation. That's the tolerance. And be constant in prayer, constantly. So I wrote some more things down somewhere. Yes, rejoice always, pray continually without ceasing. Oh yes, pray continually. So this word continually in Hebrew, I did research, adia leptos means continually, without ceasing, or at all times. Pray.
It's Latin the way you say it, so.
It could be, but Google doesn't have to know everything. Give thanks in all circumstances. See, if some tribulation comes, be thankful. And if some happiness comes, be also thankful. For this is God's will for you in Christ Jesus concerning you. Quench not the spirit. See, don't let the spirit be thirsty. So yeah, if we don't, like the moments we don't remember the Lord, we, like the spirit soul is thirsty. So we can remember the Lord constantly, or the soul is thirsty. So he says in Bible, you quench not the spirit. You need to always pray, always remember the Lord, always chant. And yeah, it's like I really would like to hear from you, everyone, or not everyone, but like you, like how do you, like how, like it's really like my mind is like how do I remember Krishna constantly? It's like constantly seems so far away, feels so far away. So I will read the verse again, just that we remember what Krishna wants us to do. Just he doesn't ask much. Just is like the whole Bhagavad Gita is helping us to like be able to do that. Always think of me and become my devotee. Worship me and offer you your homage unto me. Thus you will come to me without fail. I promise you this because you are my very dear friend. Madmana bhava madbhakto yadapadi mam namaskuru mame vaisyasi satyam te pratijane priyosime. Oh, I got this. Thank you. Yeah, so how do you remember the Lord constantly?
I wanted to say two things. One thing is, Prabhupada in the purport said to remember Krishna, like the speaker of the Bhagavad Gita. And that make even like a different layer of difficulty, I found. And not like remembering the Lord in nature, remembering the Lord inside, in that dialogue, which is more like speaking with Paramatma than really Krishna as the speaker of the Bhagavad Gita. So already that's difficult. But like where Prabhupada said, like that form of Krishna, not another form of Krishna, like the two-arm form with spread the flute and Vedek with a peacock feather and all that, it's like zero. Like all the other one that you quoted, basically they're not that even. So that's one thing, one comment I wanted to make. And another aspect, I think you covered it all. And I think there's one other aspect that I will add is the aspect of the rule and regulation. Because we are conditioned soul. So if we continue to do everything we do according to our conditioning, then we will tend to associate the conditioning with our way of thinking. But if we recondition ourselves to Krishna consciousness, and so with following rule and regulation that are not part of our conditioning, like so many rule of regulation, we were speaking about that with Kelly today about the nectar of devotion. Now it says list and list and list and list, and they have their purpose. All those little rules that seem stupid or seems like, why will you do that? Things like that. Their purpose is really to step out of our conditioning and add little things throughout the day that I'm going to do differently. Why? Because I'm a devotee of Krishna.
Yes, thank you. It's the nectar of instruction part, following the rules and regulations, and not like whimsically
Not for the sake of following them.
But for the sake of
Exactly.
remembering Krishna. Yes, thank you.
Can turn the computer off.
Okay. Damayanti.
Thank you for the class. This morning, my husband and I, we were reading about and we were reading Bhagavad Gita, and he was appreciating the Bhagavad Gita because it teaches about the modes of material nature. And I actually felt like I wanted to go on, I'll just share what he said, which was that, there are many scriptures that lay out ways to go back to God and to align with our spiritual nature. And of course, we haven't studied those deeply. And I'm sure there's many things that align with like teachings about the mode of goodness and the mode of passion and the mode of ignorance in other scriptures, but there's whole chapters dedicated to describing the mode, like your consciousness and what it looks like in your consciousness when you're in the mode of goodness, which is so elevating, and it's like such a powerful platform to cultivate God consciousness, to transform your habits into the mode of goodness. So I felt really inspired by that. I thought I wanted to like go on Facebook to just a public post and say, hey, there's this book my husband and I have been reading, and it teaches about the mode of goodness, and it's so elevating, and I recommend it. Like reading this book, just putting it out there kind of in a practical way. Like so many religions, so many people are attempting and believe in what we're talking about, serving God with devotion. Increasingly, like people believe in that as their values. And then as far as how to get to that day to day, of course, there's many factors. I just wanted to add this one, which is cultivating the mode of goodness, habits that elevate your mind, your body, your speech, your environment, your relationships. Just that's all I wanted to share to contribute.
Thank you for that, Anna. This aspect of like creating the peaceful environment within ourselves, that we are not disturbed by the disturbances, and that's sattva, like a sattvic platform that enables the space for remembering Krishna. Yes, thank you for adding that. Yes.
Often Srila Prabhupada says we need to be calm. That word calm. So that's connected with what Damayanti is sharing, calm is not going to come from the mother passion or ignorance.
Calm. Yes. Yeah, the loud thing. There is not much space for Krishna. Yeah.
I want to share something kind of whimsical. There's one right here. These little guys, these little clicker things.
Yes.
So when George and Danielle lived here, George would always have this thing on his finger, and I would make a judgment that that's not really chanting, and I didn't pay attention to it. And then he gave me one day, and I just stuck it in the drawer, and I didn't pay attention to it. But then I stumbled on it a few months ago. And so this is kind of whimsical, and I guess I want to approach it with it's helped me in a way that I hadn't expected it to. So I'm just sharing it because it's kind of fun. I started just playing around with it and kind of carrying it around, and that little fidgety thing that your fingers want to do, my fingers want to do. I know they sell these little widgets because people like to click things. So I started just carrying it around, clicking it and saying the mantra. and I liked it. And I was doing it so much that I had to get another one because I used it so much. So then I just ordered like a 6-pack of these guys. And so then I just put them around in the laundry room, in the car, in the kitchen, in the bedroom. There's 2 of them laying over there. So now they're everywhere. And what happened was I was carrying it around so much that I'm just clicking all the time because I can't stop clicking it and at the beginning of each mantra. So I do my chanting in the morning. This is a bonus mantra. But what I noticed it was kind of accidental. I didn't plan it out, but what I noticed over time was I needed to have the thing in my hand and I needed to keep doing it because there's something gratifying about pushing the button. And so when I was vacuuming or whatever, even taking the trash out, I just carry it with me everywhere. So then I lay it down and pick something up and then I can't find it again, but there's another one because I have so many of them now. So then sometimes I look at the numbers and there's like 600 or 800 on each of them. And so then it was like exciting to see how many. So then it just started becoming this sort of personal challenge. And so then I forgot that I was doing it because I can still daydream while I'm doing it still clean. I'm not saying they're pure mantra chanting, but they're saying Krishna's names and they're keeping me from saying other things. Okay. So then now I'm so comfortable with it, I forget that I'm doing it around other people. So I noticed when Lizzie was here the other day, we went to Winn-Dixie and I just did it all the way to Winn-Dixie. And then I go in the store with it. So today I was at Walmart and Lowe's and Publix. I had to go to Gainesville today to do a bunch of things. And I just carry it. And then I noticed it makes me feel more in tune. And then the people I'm interacting with in the stores or wherever I am, because I've been doing it now for, I don't know, 5 or 6 months. So I forget that I'm doing it. And then I forget that other people might think what's she doing? But then they just ask, what is that? And what is it? And it breaks the conversation. So that's kind of fun. But I remember being in the store with Lizzie the other day and she didn't even notice it. Like, I just think I do it with such confidence now that this is what I do, that I don't think, I don't have any self-consciousness about it anymore. So I'm noticing that when you said tricks, it feels like a trick to keep my mind on saying the mantra in between the bookends and the rounds and the other stuff, is to constantly just keep chanting and clicking. And so I've never told anybody I do this. I think sometimes, I mean, I don't do it on program days, so you guys don't see me doing it all the time, but I think that I didn't think I'd ever tell anybody, any of you guys. So I feel a little bit like it's kind of silly, but for me, it's like been a life changer as far as like, because otherwise I could get really out there daydreaming when I'm doing the daily chores, or I could talk about things. Are you okay? Yes. Okay. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say. It's just kind of a little fun little share of these
Thank
little.
Thank you. Like, yeah, it's very inspiring to hear how these like little things are keeping you to chant Hare Krishna because you want to press the button, and how it's like so automatic, and you do so much preaching because people ask like, what are you clicking constantly? And then yeah, it's very inspiring. Thank you for sharing. Okay, so if there is no other sharing, I have one more question to the public. And that is, how do you breathe when you chant? Now that's other question that like bothers me constantly. Like one constant question that bothers me constantly is how to remember Krishna constantly. And second one is, how do you breathe when you chant? Like I'm suffocating, or I take so long breathing that I'm not chanting.
I don't know, it's automatic for me, so I couldn't explain.
Automatic.
I never had a problem.
Okay.
Yes, for me, I chant slow because I feel like it's a sweeter process all the way around. And so that allows space for breathing. And then I feel like I'm fully giving of my voice and of my energy when I'm feeding my own body's need. to then produce the sound and the vibration and the care. That's so the breathing comes between like the first half and the second half. Or if I'm speeding up, like I work in like the break for breathing, like it becomes part of the rhythm. So it's really more of a like accepting I'm a human being with a body that needs oxygen and making it a part of the chanting. It's the renourishment so that I can give back physically, I guess. Rather than like when I try and train with Prabhupada, it's like it's a struggle. Like my body really suffers in the process, and then I feel distracted by that, and I'm not really with Krishna anymore. I'm like frustrated with Krishna and Prabhupada. And that's not what we're going for. So I do what my body. It's almost like a dance, really. It's like feels more like a dance of how do I allow my body to really be fully involved. And
Yes.
so are you looking for like timing on the breathing or just
I appreciate your acceptance point, like accept that I need to breathe. Because I really do fight with it. It's such a struggle because I maybe say like 2 mantras and then I need like kind of like grasp for breath, and then like but that I don't want to make like too many breaks for breathing because it like really slows me down, and it's not like it seems that like when Shri Prabhupada chants, he has like even length between each of the mantra, and I'm really like, when is he breathing? So I chant like 2 mantras and then I have a long break for take a breath, and then like another 1 mantra, but then I'm already suffocating, so I have to take breath in the middle. And
so
it's
you're
like,
like gasping
like,
the whole time?
Yeah, it's just like, yeah, but accepting that I have to breathe eventually. But yeah, I feel I would like to find that like evenness, because it's really disturbing when I chant like after 2 mantras and then after half mantra and then after 1 mantra and then after like 3 mantra. It's just like.
So you want to find your own rhythm.
I knew a devotee that was doing a practice that he shared how he really, that practice helped him to focus his chanting, like really hear and be with the chanting. And also what he found is that by that practice, he was chanting his 16 rounds quite easily in less than 2 hours. And it was an interesting practice because it seems counter intuitive. You will breathe in without chanting and then breathe out 3 mantra, or, like, and then, chant only while breathing out, and then breathing in and chant only like that. And I thought, wow, it will take more time, because myself, I don't even know when I breathe. I know I breathe, I have no problem with it, but I couldn't tell you when I breathe. And so it sounded very counterintuitive. However, I trust that person had that experience of like calculating like that, to only chant while breathing out and breathe in without chanting, and doing it with a certain number of mantra, always the same number. And it was really helping the mind being focused on the mantra.
Well, like from you saying that he was only chanting breathing out, it sounds there is such a thing as chanting breathing in.
Yeah, I'm practically sure that's what happened when I chant. I don't know. I don't focus. I don't know what I do, but I don't think I stopped chanting.
I guess I tried to chant inhale, but it's impossible to me. Like
you need to breathe if your nose breathes. Anyway, I'm not sure. Like I said, I don't know when I breathe, but I know I don't stop for breathing, or I don't think about it either. But that's what the devotee was sharing with me, and so maybe that's something you want to try.
Yeah, but something like similar I do try. It's still very disturbing. Like when I don't focus on my chanting, I don't focus on the breathing either, and it all somehow goes. But as soon as I start to focus on chanting, I am finding that I'm suffocating.
Yeah, when you focus on chanting, that's where you focus on your breathing, and then you think it too much.
It's like I didn't find a way to like not focus on the breathing It's just
Yeah.
like as soon as I start to focus on chanting, I'm realizing that I don't breathe.
Yeah. I don't know that experience.
It's frustrating experience. Okay, so I thank you all for your attention and tips, and I wish you a full week of remembering Krishna constantly, and then full lifetime and eternity of like no moment of not remembering Krishna. And Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you, Hladini. Hi, Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.